we are back for the penultimate of Beyond the Wall, which is both exciting and really sad because I've really enjoyed this campaign.
Locking it out.
Yep. But we've got one more after this one, so this isn't the last one. Um, Before we jump into phase head via mind magic stuff, we'll let everybody introduce themselves and their characters, and then we'll pass it on to Yaz to take it away for us. So I'm Raven. I'm the creative director for the Raven Evermore, which is my brand for all the various plethora of things that I do. There's my link tree in chat, which if you're watching this on the Fantasy Network later, it's just linktr.ee/ the Raven, like it says below my face. Also, my cat says hello because she's demanding attention. So if you hear a cat in the background, it's glitch. Don't worry about it. And then I play Mare, who's a super gothy, antisocial superhero. Just noticed you holding that up, Hannah. I'm excited about that. And yeah, she's doing a lot of growth. Was very antisocial and didn't open up to anyone. And then she did and was immediately betrayed, or at least she thought so or felt that way. But they're working it out. There was a chicken involved, and they're kind of they're kind of doing better now.
Animals today. It's a Fae episode.
It's
Yeah. I lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
It's okay. We're all a little just easily distracted today. Sponsors. The thing that Hannah was holding up is Fundamental RPG. I also have one of these. You can pick that up on Amazon. Just look for Fundamental RPG or Raven Evermore. It should pop right up. But it is a tabletop system. It's a D20 system that you can run virtually any type of story on. Anything from high fantasy to sci-fi and everything in between. We run Animus and Water on it this season. We've got 4 games next season that are going to be running on it. It's really cool. You should pick it up. If you want to pick up a digital copy instead, or if you need character sheets, you can pick those up at coffee.com/raven/shop. Like it says at the bottom of the screen, just add /shop to the end. And then the other sponsor is Intrepid, which is adventuring gear for real life. And we've got athletic and casual and outdoor wear and some cool accessories like water bottles and coffee mugs. We just added a new 15-ounce coffee mug that looks really cool. I've got one on the way. I'm excited to get it. But it's cool stuff. You should check it out. And it's also at the coffee website. And that is everything. I'm going to stop talking and pass it on to Paladin. Tell us a little bit about Tom and yourself.
Hi, I'm Paladin Hulk, Twitch moderator for Random Tuesday and Little Red Dot, and I'm excited for today's episode because I'm playing Tom Fan, your friendly ghost, and I made this whole episode happen by, inserting my will onto the narrative. So if you don't like it, blame me. Yeah, let's go invade someone's head and poke around and move all the boxes.
That's not invasive, but this coming from the guy who possesses people.
Yep.
It's fine. Mayor's learning how to be social, and what could be more social than, unlicensed therapy from someone without any experience in the area whatsoever, going literally into your head to fix all your trauma. It's gonna be fine.
That's how you fix trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that
It's
Mare
well-known.
usually uses this as a weapon to, emotionally stun enemies, that sure that will not have any impact on this going.
When all you have is
well.
fear magic, everything looks like a problem to be solved with fear magic. So
Yeah.
trauma, let's have fear take care of it.
I'm afraid
It's gonna be the
right.
best episode ever. Let's go.
Oh,
Speaking of
Michael Wayne is totally right.
yeah.
Yep.
Speaking of Faye, Anita, tell us a little bit about yourself and Faye.
I am Anina Kasky. I'm an actor and writer, and I have a
I think you froze up there.
comedy. Am I back?
You're back.
Appear to be.
One more
I'm
time.
back.
Maybe not.
Anina. I'm an actor. and writer. I have a YouTube channel. I'm doing like the Spark Notes version, just in case I freeze again. I play Faye. She is the archangel of all animals, and yes, we are about to see what's going on in that head of hers. I am equally excited and terrified. I'm sure there's some lovely surprises in her head.
I can't wait to find out the whole like how much Angel is Faye. It's gonna be exciting.
What if
The
that's her real name?
That would
Uh,
be interesting.
Yeah.
I would have questions for the parents.
Who's Charlie?
Yeah, who is Charlie? We don't know.
Her pet fox, clearly.
Next, we've got Hannah. Tell us a little bit about Joe and yourself.
Hi, everybody. I'm Hannah, occasional creative part-time human. I will be playing Joe today, who is the high skeptic of the group and mechanic and general puzzle solver, and is not super okay with this idea of jumping into someone's brain just because Joe wouldn't want her brain to be jumped in.
Fair enough.
And I'm projecting.
That's totally fair. I wouldn't want mine to be jumped in either. It's a scary place.
Definitely. I have no idea why Faye said, sure, let's do it. But she did, and now we get to go.
She trusts us too much.
It's to gain Bear's trust again. This is what she thinks she needs to do.
It's a game.
No.
It's healthy.
Not healthy.
No.
As
And
we
then-
know, Faye doesn't have this being a human thing down yet. So
It's true.
this is what happens.
And last but not least, yes,
Angel
tell us a little
bad
bit about this wonderful world and your wonderful self, and take it away.
So this world, now that we're at the end of this season, this world is more loosely inspired by the Beyond the Wall comic world that I have had the pleasure of illustrating for the author Cecilis. The comic book is in its very last stages. We just got our first proof edit back. We're finishing up, and we're hoping to have the Kickstarter comics out by July and them listed in our shops by August. Fingers crossed, we'll see. So we're super excited about that. If you're interested in this world, you can give Cecilis a follow on Twitter to follow along with any further updates or details regarding the comic book once it's available for the public. Last time, I'm an artist. Last time on Beyond the Wall, y'all gave a mean, nasty alien the slip.
It went
I'm still
exceptionally
amazed
well.
That worked.
Yeah.
It's just because we have two people who can go incorporeal. That is literally all that saved us.
I wasn't prepared for the way that you guys all handled that. Very exciting. Absolutely loved it. There's a lot more content planned for last week's game, but it's good. We bypassed it. And you all ended up on a ship where, after some very heartfelt emotional moments, you decided that eventually you would push into Faye's mind to figure out what's going on, and as Amina said, as a good show of faith. But we also know that your travel through the great void of space is long and isolating, and something about that is a little heart-crushing and demotivating. So that's where we open up, is with you all deciding when you jump into Faye's mind and setting the position for that. Finger guns.
Pew, pew, pew.
Now, I have a super important question. Can Captain Nuggies join us in this mind trip?
And the
Well,
chicken
I kind
come.
of made. He's probably in there, seeing as Faye made Captain Nuggies.
I will allow you to take Captain Nuggies in with the understanding that Captain Nuggies might not come out. Your decision.
Captain Nuggies.
Yeah, it seems a bit risky for the chicken. Like, what if we lose him
That's
in there?
fair.
We don't want to.
That's
We don't want to
fair.
risk the captain.
That's true. Maybe we'll just we'll stick them in one of the spare rooms.
I hadn't
Is it-
considered that he was like the captain of this starship. That's pretty cool.
Hmm. Is it really a good idea for all of us to go in? What if something happens in the, like, when are we doing this again? While we're in the ship?
That
Yeah,
was
you know,
what
you
I
take
was
it on
under the impression
autopilot.
of.
This is a once in a lifetime opportunity for us. You gotta go.
To go
If
in
the-
someone's brain? That's super
Yeah, like,
invasive.
I mean, well, sure, but like you're never gonna do it again, right? So you gotta
Why
do
do I
it
have
right
to do it in
now.
the first place?
To help. Look at that mess.
Mary
That It's kind of
chimes
rude.
Rude.
kind of like interjecting without like actually participating in the conversation. Just chimes in like, I go into people's minds all the time. They're usually bad guys.
Yeah, but this is not a bad guy. This is our
Right, so now
friend.
we get to do good stuff.
Yeah.
And
This
you're a
is like-
mechanic, so if we're fixing things, really, you're the one who's gotta go.
A mechanic and a therapist are totally different things.
I mean, you know,
Are they?
you see
though?
what's broke, and then you fix the broke part.
No, you can't. You don't just get to fix broken parts in a
No.
brain, like fixing a loose screw on a car.
Yeah, maybe
Uh,
there's just a few screws loose. I've heard that said before.
They're
Might
not
be
literal
exactly like that.
screws. Brains don't have screws.
I mean, we're going into her mindscape, so. Whack, whack, whack.
Mayor, you can all go in, just don't screw things. Please.
I can safely say that we're not gonna screw anything in there.
Unless it's loose.
Tom.
The innuendo getting to you.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm like a 12-year-old most of the time.
I'm dead now.
Oh no, we killed Raven. By we, I mean Tom.
Yeah, Bear just shoots Tom a look like, no.
Alright. We're going in there to fix
we'll
problems, and if
fix
that's what
things,
the
but
problem
we'll
looks
not
like, I
mess
don't
it up.
know. I don't know what people's minds look like.
They're weird. Pretty much.
Weren't
is
you in
how
Mao's
they
brain,
work.
kind of?
Oh yeah. If it's like that, then all we gotta do is follow the lights.
There's sometimes
Go on.
lights, sometimes there's not.
Yeah, maybe it's
Just-
like that.
Just don't touch anything, Tom.
Are you saying that some
Come
people
on,
don't
I literally
have the
can't
lights
touch
in their
anything
eyes?
ever.
Well, you probably will be able to in the brain space because it's not real. Like it's real, but it's not
Huh.
like this plane.
Yes,
Maybe.
you said you've possessed me once already, Tom.
hmm But this is different.
Once is
You know.
enough.
I'm not going to do that again. That's not what the point of this is. I'm not going to pilot your body. I'm going to go in your head and see what's going on.
You're
If
far
I'll
that's
do
too
if
cool,
everyone
if
thinks
you-
I need to, but I'm not happy about it.
Mayor, please.
Mayor looks
trust
at
you.
everyone and just kind of make sure everyone's still looking like they're okay to go. Is Mao coming on this trip?
Do you want Mao to come on this trip?
I
do.
Well, Mao gets to sit out.
All hands
I
on deck.
mean, Mayor I think would be indifferent. Raven really wants Mao to come on this trip.
I don't think that. I mean,
But does Mao want to come on this trip is the question.
Mao is suffering from a case of the demotivational sads, so she would need encouragement, but it wouldn't take much, especially if you needed a buddy.
Okay. maybe it would be better to have Mao, make sure we don't crash the ship into anything while we're in there.
Yes, that's a good idea.
Yeah, Mal can
Okay.
keep an eye on things. Oh God.
I'm gonna teach Mao
All right.
some basics.
Okay.
Okay.
Please feel
Once
free to
everyone's-
imagine Joe like reaching around her to show like where things are pointed. Listen, I'm here for shipping and that's it.
I imagine it very much like the scene from Ghost
Yeah.
play.
I haven't seen that.
Oh
You
dear.
should.
It's
What's
it's
the song from that
iconic.
scene? Is it Unchained Melodies that plays during that scene?
I think so.
I can't
Yeah.
remember. Anyways, so I'll just have to add that to the playlist.
Yep.
Mao and Joe shipping. So you teach Mao and you get everything squared away to start setting up for this. Raven,
Mhm.
would you like to join hands with your fellow players and roll big magic for me?
I would
dear.
love to.
Hands
Virtually
everyone.
holding everyone's hands.
We will say grace and pillage the mind of Faye.
Oh no. That sounds like a D6.
That's very much a D6.
Oops.
10.
That's
There we
what I
go.
forgot
We're
to
okay.
Everything's
Yeah, please don't
perfect.
leave me as a potato.
Before we kick this off for real, I want to give Faye one more chance to say, maybe not, So before we actually do the ritual, all right, so this is your last chance to say anything at all about, no, don't do this. It's a horrible idea. Or I really don't want you to come. Probably me, but
I trust Mare
huh?
and I trust the rest of you. Go on.
All right. Thank you. We're gonna do our best. All right, this is tricky, but we're gonna give it a best shot.
So if we get disconnected, does that mean we wake up?
Sure. That's what that means. Yes.
Okay. Well, if anything goes wrong, then Mal can grab us.
And do the shaking thing. That's how you wake people up. I think.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
All right.
Mayor's totally got the shifty eyes as she's like, yes, that's exactly what'll happen. We'll just wake up and be fine.
So for
This is why
sake-
Joe doesn't trust magic.
That's fair.
All right, man.
Um,
You're gonna be in charge when we get in there because you've done this before.
For
Yeah,
the Sorry, go
don't
on.
lose sight of each other. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, for the use of big magic, you call upon everybody's collective lucid dreamer energy to begin setting and paving the way for being able to do this. And you can describe to everybody else how it unfolds.
Yeah, Mayor uncomfortably holds hands with everyone, sort of circling around Faye, and begrudgingly calls upon the power of friendship to
I think you mean T.
make sure everyone can stay together inside.
All I could see is like everybody holding hands, swaying back and forth, singing "Kumbaya."
Kind of like that. I imagine there's like sparkly rainbow visual magical effects that are going around. Mayor's looking at everybody going, don't say a fucking word. And yeah, that eventually like zooms into Faye's head along with everybody else's consciousness, and we find ourselves inside Faye's mindscape. And yeah, Mayor just reiterates like, don't lose sight of each other. Don't get lost, because then I don't know, like it'll be a whole thing to try to get you out again.
Don't say.
I'm
Sorry,
imagining
go
one of
on.
those Final Fantasy effects of when you get a random encounter battle and it like zoom, like you get the like effect lines as you zoom in.
Yeah. And it's totally like some sort of like 80s super rainbow lines and
Oh,
neon light
wonderful.
looking stuff.
80s synth plays in the background.
Yeah.
God, is this an 80s vibe? Then we look like virtual reality, like the very first iteration of this. Horrible.
Is this what Faye's brain is like, or is this Mayor's influence?
I was actually going
I
to
think
ask
the
Faye.
80s stuff is probably all there.
Probably, it's basically Tron. That's what it looks like when we head in, I think. And then from there, it's whatever Yaz says.
So, Faye, your surface thoughts, how would those visually manifest?
So what I'm sort of conscious of thinking now.
Mm-hmm. Oh no.
Visually manifest. Ooh. Am I here?
You're good.
Yep, you're good.
Fab. It would be a sort of vast plain just before a thunderstorm. Like you can kind of, it's about to rain. It's just about to rain. It's not quite as heavy. It's tiny, like hear the thunder like miles and miles away.
Nice.
Would there be suggestions towards your faith in your God? Would there be animals everywhere, or are the animals running?
There's birds flying past. And you can see like one deer just bolt across.
Cool.
But yeah, it's quite quiet. The wind, you can hear the wind.
And the distant, almost thunderstorm.
Yeah.
All right. So this is what you guys first appear into. Your 80s synth trickles away, and you guys find yourself standing in the middle of this plains.
This is nice. I'm a
That's-
person.
It's pretty.
I'll punch Mare in the shoulder because I can.
Ow.
Yeah.
Huh.
Bear just looks at Top for a second, then just like wails into his shoulder.
Ow. Damn it. All right. I see there's some
Yeah, it
drawbacks
hurts,
to this.
doesn't it?
Question.
All right, maybe we should
do
get back
I
on task.
Do I see what they see, or am I
Mm.
sort of blissfully unaware?
Yes, Faye with us?
Yeah, no,
There
I
might be
think
different iterations of Faye running around, like different
think I'm not.
representations of her. There could be all different kind of aspects of who you are as a person running around.
I bet in her own head, Faye looks very angel-like.
fair,
I'm
like
just-
absolutely angelic animal.
I'm just suddenly imagining like Sanders sides, but it's all Faye.
So I've been watching Doctor Who, and all I can think about is the library,
Mm.
Yes.
and the different
Oh, I love
like
that episode.
informants that are around the library with the faces on them. That's what I was imagining for Faye's. Like you have like these like impressions or imprints that just kind of appear, and they're like, hey, how can I help you? Or something like that.
Okay.
Very creepy. But yeah, can I see what they see, or am I just sort of experiencing?
I would say that you probably have like both a first person and omniscient kind of observation of this, and you can through these iterations of yourself, you can interact with them to a degree, but you cannot control what they
Good.
are doing, and you cannot control what the world is doing
Mhm.
as the character.
I think Meryl will look to Faye then, if Faye's with us, and go, all right, which way to the subconscious? Because that's where the fucked up stuff is. It's probably what we need to fix.
Memories?
Right. Like a room full of memories.
And this
Oh, right.
iteration
We
is
could go to the memories, I
sorry,
guess.
go on.
I normally go
this-
for the subconscious, so
Uh,
sorry, go ahead.
this iteration of Faye is going to be how she observes herself, like whatever standing that she's at, whether it's angelic or helpful or whatever. That's this, like your perfect identity would be
Okay.
this.
So I look, but the most. If you take Galadriel when she's influenced by the ring, take that down a couple of notches, a bit more angelic. It's a bit like that. But I look so otherworldly, this aura glow, and just sense of purpose and power. Big old wings.
Very cool. How do you respond to them asking about your self-conscious or your memories?
One of my feathers is gonna fall off and it's gonna go on the wind towards
Yes, that's one way of answering.
conscious. And so,
Follow the feather. We're off to see the feathers, the wonderful feathers of Wood. Sorry.
Yeah. Mare just kind of looks at the feather and looks at Faye and has sort of like a really look on her face, but is like, all right, I've seen weirder, and starts following the feather.
Neat. Is there anything we can learn from, the surroundings? It seems pretty angel-y now, because it's all nature.
Roll sharp for me.
Is that an everyone roll or just a Tom roll?
Just a Tom roll. I mean,
I'm
unless
actively
the
looking.
rest of you are actively looking.
No, Mare's following the feather.
Tom, you kind of get a sense that there's something more to this, but that you can't see past what you're being shown. And the storm, which is the direction that you're going to be heading, has more presence than the ground that you're walking on. If that makes sense.
Is the feather
It's
heading
all
to
about
or
the
away
storm
from?
thing. Yeah? What?
Is the feather heading to or away from the storm?
To the storm. Thank you for the tip, Michael Wayne.
Thanks so much. For the next time, a player roll. So just a a group advantage for the next time somebody rolls.
Okay,
And
cool.
I'll
disadvantage?
put that over here. It's oh, you're right. That is a disadvantage. Sorry.
Sorry, y'all.
But that's bad.
All right.
Uh-oh, got shuffled.
Uh-oh. Hannah's the GM now.
I am God now.
All right, take it away.
Tell us what the storm means.
this is what
Rocks
happens
fall and
when
you
put
die.
down an egg.
Aw, take it.
That's just how I imagined this campaign would end.
Yeah.
Tiamat swoops in from above.
It would happen. Don't put it past me.
Remember me? I
Like,
own
what?
this
No?
campaign now.
So you
There we
guys
go.
are
Fixed
heading.
it.
Yay! You guys are heading towards the storm, which is the direction that the feather is pointing you in.
Gonna do up my
Yeah.
coveralls.
Mare, you're so fixated on this feather you don't notice, but Tom, you notice that Mare leaves little glittery footprints in the dirt of the plains. She's the only one that does it.
It's very special.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Mare would
I'll-
absolutely hate this. I love it.
I don't know if you noticed, but I'll
I
elbow
love
Joe
it.
and be like, "Look, Joe, sparkles."
I
Don't
imagine
tell
that
Mare.
they-
Don't tell Mare.
I imagine that they make like the faintest tinkling sound, like
Yeah.
Joe will laugh though, like a little snark, like don't tell Mare.
So you guys press forward across these plains, and plains begin to change and alter and darken. And the plains, the grass, like it's almost like you're walking down steps as the grass begins to grow and become trees around you. And through the trees, you see dancing lights. If you want to see more, I'm going to need you all to roll sharp again.
Who's rolling
I'll roll
first?
shop this time. I'll do it this time because dancing lights.
Yeah, I'm nervous.
All right.
And I think this is around the time that I try to fly and find out that I can't.
So, Hannah, you gotta roll again and take the lower one. That's
All
our
right.
disadvantage.
Yay!
Oh, no.
Hannah, Joe doesn't see anything at all.
Joe is respectfully not looking.
She's like, I don't want to bother with the lights. We're just going to get to the end of this and call it a day.
I don't want to deal with anyone else's trauma right now.
You have come to the wrong place for that.
It's so juicy.
I know.
Does anybody else want to roll, or is anybody else looking?
I think Tom is nervous, so I'll ask Mare. I'm like, Mare, what are those weird lights in the forest? Is that a
Alright.
thing?
That'll be enough for Mare to take her laser focus off of the feather and look around.
Okay, I'm gonna have you roll sharp.
It's not like Dream Guardians or
7.
something.
You can see shadows moving among the lights. They look somewhat humanoid, but you can't put your finger on if they really are humanoid, because they seem to be walking in a very disjointed manner, horns sprouting out of their heads. Like you can see these lofty, well, they could also be mistaken for headdresses. And they seem to be walking parallel to you, one direction or the other.
Oh, those are just, well, they're either memories of something or intrusive thoughts. If they're the latter, then that might be a problem.
Why are those bad?
Yeah. And Mare says that like she knows from personal experience.
Okay.
Understatement of the century.
God, right?
So as you continue in, you come across a clearing. This is a very finely perfect circle clearing, and in the center is a dais with another iteration of Fae standing next to it, looking through a book. This book looks like it might have significant value. It's got gold edges. The pages all have incredible illustrations that look very Celtic inspired across them. But this iteration of Anina, or of Faye, sorry, is very engrossed in the book. She doesn't look up when you guys enter.
Does she look angelic still?
She does. Well, that's up to Faye to decide. This is still, we're sort of in the upper echelon of her surface thoughts. I would like to mention that the road does continue on the other side of the dais, that the feather is pulling you down.
Okay. I think Mare will take note of this Faye reading in the book and just sort of go, hi, what part of Faye are you?
This would be her religious sense, like her first devotions, the first memories of her being awake and in charge of her powers.
Okay.
I like to imagine that you can hear her praying, but in a language you can't understand. Something ancient.
I think Mayor's gonna look at that and go, "Oh, the religious part. Cool. That's not gonna help us, and we're gonna keep going." Just keep following the feather.
It's like going through a museum and we're like, oh, this is not relevant to our trip. Let's go.
Yeah.
Is this the part that we're trying to cure, or is this the part that we're trying to get rid of? I'm just,
I don't think we should mention getting rid of Faye's religion to Faye.
I don't know. I don't know what we're doing. We should
mean,
find out more
that's-
information about what's going on first. Let's look through
Oh,
the
that's
memories,
a
see what's
pretty
going
big-
on, then make some decisions.
Yeah, that's a pretty big part of Faye. That getting rid of that would be bad.
Right. Yeah,
Right.
no, I got you. Smaller. Like
Yeah,
we'll
that's
get rid
something
of
she
her
wants
love
to
of
get rid
ducks or
of.
something. I don't know.
Moving right
I'm
along.
pretty sure that's not it. Why ducks?
It's
She
the
likes
first
all
animal that popped
animals.
into my head for like a smaller part of her. You never know what causes problems.
Ducks, apparently.
Some
They can be
I
some
guess.
tricky little, I'm just saying.
I'd assume geese, but all right.
They had us
Some
feed
people
them
juggle
bread
those.
for years, and then they were like, you know what? That's actually bad for us. We tricked you.
Damn.
anyways,
Yeah.
feather. We should follow.
Oh,
all right.
yes.
Bear keeps following the feather.
Faye, does this iteration pay them any attention as they pass you?
I think eerily she look out for a moment, stare at Mare, nod, and then just go back to the reading prey.
All right.
Just that.
So
This is
you
some
guys,
Inception stuff that, like, she sees Mare and is like, yes, that one.
this one is acceptable. Um, you guys continue down this winding path that this feather is like slowly taking you down. I imagine it does like these super lazy like ups and downs and twirls and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like walking with
Pocahontas.
NPCs.
The the brush of the forest begins to condense. The trees almost seem to get bigger and bigger and bigger, but you can't actually see these trees because the light becomes darker as well. And you find yourself having to kind of wade through these long stalks of underbrush. And you find like there's no brambles, nothing is pulling at you. It's almost like walking through a long grass plains, or like the long, like an ocean of long grass where everything is very close together. Who
I don't
wants
think
to
Faye
roll
uses
sharp
this part of her mind a
time?
lot. It's really difficult to move around in.
Yeah, it does seem that way.
Maybe it's not hard for her, though.
I mean, she does have wings, so
Um,
that would still be tricky with those massive trees.
would anybody like to roll sharp for this area?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay, do it.
A 7 again.
Excellent.
Nope.
Oh no.
I am scared. Ah.
Tom. So Mare, you as you're walking through, it's less of what you see and more of what you are tactiling feeling. These long stalks of grass almost feel like like very fibrous paddles. Very, very soft. They have a rigid core in the middle and then fibers that seem to spring out on either side of them. It gives you the faint impression of the fletching on an arrow.
Okay. Mare
Um,
takes note
sorry,
of
go
that,
on.
thinks that's interesting, but is unsure what to do with about it. So she'll keep kind of moving forward into this stuff, I guess.
So the feather that is leading you emits a slight glow so that you are able to keep tabs on it. But there is a second light in the near distance that's kind of bobbing along in the dark.
Mayor looks at the rest of the group and goes, I think I've read about these things once, that you're not supposed to follow those. And since we're in, like, woods, that's bad.
Yeah, that does seem suspicious.
You're
You
the
guys,
boss.
you guys continue forward and do not find the iteration of Faye in this portion of her mind.
Oh, all right then.
Bobbing ball of light in the woods, no thank you.
I know about will-o'-the-wisps.
Yep.
So the landscape becomes even harder to walk through. You find your shoes and your socks and your pant legs soaked to the bone, as it's almost like trying to move through a marsh. The light has become gray. It's kind of a dark twilight that you kind of get the idea in. And you realize that the trees aren't trees. They look like apartment buildings or skyscrapers in an empty city.
I'll go ahead and sharp this one.
Noise. So sorry, I'm trying to think, what details do I omit?
It's fun as a DM figuring that out. I won't know everything.
I have put so much thought into this, guys. I'm so excited.
I want to know everything.
So your feather
whole
has slowed down to accommodate the fact of how slow you guys are moving. And Joe, you hear this steady drip of water. But it's not rhythmic, like it's coming from a tap. And sometimes it almost sounds like something is being dropped into water and the splash over an edge of something else. This environment is very wet. But you hear accompanying that kind of a whoosh, like something pushing through the water. And as you guys come around one of the edges of these buildings in this empty city that's been flooded, you can see an iteration of Faye on what looks like a plank of wood, or like a small petition of wood that she is rowing on. Faye does not look angelic. She looks bedraggled and terribly human, with what could have been black makeup that's now streaked down her hands, and her fingertips are blue and her lips are blue.
I'm just gonna look back at Faye like,
Same. Mayor just does the same thing. He's like, anything you want to tell us there, Faye? What is this?
Do you yell that out to the iteration?
No, to our Faye, the one that's with us.
Oh, Faye's
I
not
don't think
walking
I'm with you anymore.
Oh.
You
Oh,
only
I-
have,
shit.
I gave you a feather. Yeah.
oh, and then we just left.
The
Oh,
the
okay.
feather is Faye. I mean,
Oh.
you can talk
Okay.
to the feather, but it's not going to respond. Sorry.
Okay, in that case,
Yeah.
I'll probably like start to approach, like wade through the water towards to this new Faye.
This one looks different.
If Mayor can hear, she's gonna just freeze over the surface of the water to walk over to this Faye.
Oh yeah, can we do that? Or can you do that in this place?
I don't know.
I am going to have you roll weird with disadvantage.
Okay.
I've decided that I can't do anything.
This can only go well.
It can only go well.
That's impressive. I'm impressed. You are able to freeze over the surface of this water, um, without if any observable effect.
Okay.
Like crawl on top of the ice.
Don't
it's
like
cold.
that's observable effect, and that's not without any effect. But yeah, Mare just does that and walks over to this Fey iteration and holds out a hand to try to help.
So this is up to you how you want to play it. This iteration of Faye is what she would be if she had grief, but that grief is still gone, and this
Mm.
iteration of Faye might be a little weird.
Hey there, Faye.
Howdy do.
Are
Who
you
are you?
okay?
Oh God, she doesn't remember Mare. That's a bad sign.
Well, I mean, it's probably older version, especially considering friends. We're friends.
I'm Mare. We're apparently destined to save the world together. Yay. And Bear also, while saying that, is like leaning uncomfortably close and like pokes Faye in the cheek, just trying to figure out why she looks different.
Why are you poking her? I'm pretty sure that's rude.
If she gets poked in the face, she's gonna try and bite you.
Yeah, I thought that was gonna happen.
Would you like to roll tough for me, Faye? Mayor, can I have you roll cool?
Yeah.
Oh no.
You do successfully bite Mayor.
This
Ow.
is why we ask.
Um,
Who the fuck
isn't-
are you? Stay away from me.
See, this
Sorry.
isn't actually like Faye. This is just part. It's inspecting, trying to figure out what's going on.
Part of the real Fae. You gotta be nice. All right, how
What
about you go
happened
stand
to
over
you?
here? We'll let Joe talk. Joe is good with people.
which is hilarious because Joe has
Go on, Joe.
negative charm.
Show Miss Faye how great you are.
What happened to you? You look cold. Are you okay? We just saw you and we were concerned. Mare's not good with people.
You?
It's probably not important. Just a
Stay away
stranger. I will stay away. I just like, are you okay?
I don't have any money.
I don't
Leave me alone.
want any money. You looked cold and we were worried.
I have some money.
This
You want money?
iteration of Faye, you can push away from the ice and attempt to leave if you think that would work, or if you'd like to.
I'm not a fucking prostitute. Stay the fuck away from me.
Okay. No,
I
I was just
didn't-
gonna give it
What's
to
your
you
name?
because you look.
Can I
cold.
ask your name? You don't have to answer me if you don't want. I'm just
What's it to you?
nothing, honestly. Maybe I just saw a person who looked cold and was rowing through a drowned city and I was worried. Is that so weird?
I've heard that story before. It's not gonna work.
All right. Well, you clearly don't want to talk, so I'm just going to leave you be then. If you decide you want some help, we're just going to be over here and leave.
I'll take some fucking money.
Ah, well, there you go. Here's $20. This
Mayor
is the
just
first
looked-
time my wallet has come in handy in years.
Mare looks at Tom and just does that, sort of hushed, like just making sure the only person they can hear you is the person you're talking to kind of tone. And it's like, oh, maybe we could get rid of this part. This seems.
No,
part
this
seems
is the good
mean.
part. This is the part we're saving. This is the real person. Look, she's sad and she's hungry and cold.
Why do you get to
Bit-
decide that?
She bit my
That's
finger.
a good point, though. That is a good point. I mean, I feel bad for this one.
While they're talking,
Mhm.
Faye, this version of Faye is going to try and pickpocket Joe.
Awesome.
Joe, can I have you roll cool?
Can't wait to hear what
Oh,
psychic image Joe has in her pockets.
Oh, you don't get to see what's in Joe's pockets because she's smacking the fuck out of Faye's hand the moment that comes near her.
See,
Joe
she
is
does crime.
successful
This
in
isn't our Faye.
catching you attempting to pickpocket Joe.
Sorry?
I would like. Would it be okay if Joe had some instinctual reaction where she just grabs her and like pins her?
That would be okay.
Like, hey, no.
No, you gotta be nice to her. She's vulnerable.
When you
She's
do
now
that,
screaming ahead of.
Yeah,
so
I
when
figured
you
was
do
gonna
that
happen.
and she hits the surface of your ice and she starts screaming, fissures in the ice magic that you have created begins running through the path that you built. But instead of breaking and falling into the water, you hear this heavy thunderclap and a ka-chunk. And one of the buildings starts tipping away as the ice starts moving away. And both this iteration of Faye and Joe fall into the chasm.
Oh,
No.
goodbye, everyone.
I'm gonna try to save her because
Same.
that's my whole deal.
Because Mare suddenly remembers she can fly.
I can't, but I'm gonna do a human thing. What should I roll?
I completely
It
forgot
would be
that
tough.
Mare could just fly over the water, and that's why I did the ice thing.
Okay, you're being
Yes.
considerate of Joe, who can't fly.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna hang on to the edge of the ice, trying not to fall off myself, and I grab Joe.
Yes. So you successfully catch Joe, but this iteration of Faye is also hanging off of Joe. This iteration of Faye no longer feels fear either. You have this well of anger and destructive tendencies.
Ow, 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 ow. You gotta climb fast. Come on.
Can Mare help?
Come on.
I'm hanging by one hand.
Mayor
What
can
I don't
help.
know. Do something.
What should I roll for that?
I'm gonna have you just roll magic for me.
Okay.
This is what I.
Makes success.
Joe's gonna learn some lessons about trying to help people.
You are successful, but something happens. You can decide what that something is.
Ooh, can I say what might happen?
Sure.
Since it's my head. So, some snakes are going to appear and just start slithering around everyone except this iteration of Faye.
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
I love
I
it.
had it with these mother freaking snakes and these mother freaking heads.
All right.
I wore my appropriate necklace.
Oh goodness. Okay. Mayor's just gonna be like, okay, let's get you up and out of here, away from the snakes as quickly as possible.
How do you save them?
Oh, Mayor just flew over and grabbed another arm, just trying to pull up with Tom.
Okay, there you go. There we go. Did we
That
get
would
the
be
other
the
one?
arm that was holding Faye then, which means I have dropped her.
Yeah,
No,
or
I'm assuming she clings on to you.
grabs both. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do
Leave that
you
one on.
save this iteration of Faye or not?
Ooh.
I
Uh,
prioritize Joe, but I'm very invested in this version.
Yeah, the Mayor's the same way. Joe's the primary objective. If she can also save the iteration of Faye as well, then she will. But Joe's the priority.
So this version of Faye, you have been pulled up to the surface. Now that thunder strike and the creaking of things moving around has not stopped, your world is kind of falling apart. Not that it matters to you specifically, but for the other players. But you are no longer falling in a chasm, Grumpy Faye.
Yay! She remains.
Does Grumpy Faye have a grumpy face?
Boo-boo.
She looks probably ready to like sell all of you for a warm place to sleep.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah, we saved everybody.
Joe is pointedly sitting away from her.
Okay. Okay, how
So-
about we all stop grabbing at each other, right? With the stealing and the poking.
I think we should go.
Right.
Yeah, let's
Hey, it was nothing personal.
See,
Yeah,
there we
I know.
go. We're all friends again. All right. You're coming with us.
That's nice.
So
Come on.
Your friend always this crazy?
Yes.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, this seems pretty par for the course for Faye. Oh, you weren't. Got it.
Who's Faye?
Let's just go.
Who's Faye?
Don't
That's your name.
don't worry.
Sort of.
Don't worry about
Not. I don't think that's her name.
Yeah, not real. What is
She
your
just
name?
laughs and goes, I don't know who the fuck you think I am.
What is your name?
It was not Faye. Michelle Obama.
Ah, that's
That's
not
it.
true. That is not true. That is a lie.
How do you know that's a lie, Tom?
Because that's a real person that I know. It's a celebrity. That's like me
Oh.
saying my name is Tom Selleck, which it is not.
Well, but your name
You are
is
Tom.
Yeah. So it's like half correct. Anyway,
Who's Tom Selleck?
oh, he is awesome. He's got a big mustache and like he's a manly man. He does a terrible cop show, but you know nobody's perfect.
Pretty sure the world is still falling apart around us.
Yes, we should get moving. Come on, Grumpy Faye, or Michelle, if that's what you want to be called. Come on.
I think this Faye is just gonna. I imagine she's wearing a hoodie. She just zips it up and puts her hands in her pockets and starts walking away.
No, you gotta come with us. You're important.
um,
This is all falling apart. You don't want to be here.
do any of you have your eyes on the feather at all?
Nope.
Yeah, I've
Mar-
turned back to watch it because I'm not interested in
Yeah.
this Fae anymore.
Mayor's paying mostly attention to the feather and some attention to this Faye.
Grumpy Fae.
This feather is moving in the opposite direction. It's like, man, fuck you. We're going this way.
Mayor looks at Tom and Joe and just like, I could trap her in ice and bring her with us, or we can just go. But
That
make a
seems rude.
decision.
I want to. We've been mean enough to this Faye.
Okay. I mean, this Faye's very mean also, but okay. And the Mayor's gonna just go towards the feather.
Cool.
She'll figure her shit out or she won't. It's already
we'll be back
happened.
for you. Sorry.
Fun
that
storm in
sucked.
the castle.
So you guys
See you in
continue.
hell.
We'll keep a spot warm for you.
I love it.
Mayor just mutters, already there.
Ooh, that is a bad enough.
Um, so I
Between
need
the aloe vera, this thing.
so you guys follow this this feather further in, either flying or wading through the water or walking on ice, however it is that you do it. I need you all to roll cool for me.
Okay.
I'm gonna railroad this so we can resolve the dream portion just a little.
You're fading out there. What did you say?
Gonna railroad us a bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna railroad you guys just a little bit so we can
Okay.
finish the sequence by the break.
Okay.
Mike is still.
Still a little faded out.
I'm sorry. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm better.
All right. So y'all do good, but not good enough.
Free of my
So-
life.
I could add a d6.
No, it's perfect. It's perfect for what I
Okay.
need you to do. So you guys are walking through this city, and it's almost like the shadows become very recognizably inky. And heavy. Like you're not really entirely sure that you want to walk through the shadows. And the further that you go into the city, the darker the shadows get. And that thundering, cracking, falling apart sound is following you. And for the most part, it's been a distant echo. But as you're walking very closely, almost like a gunshot sound of rebar snapping, one of the skyscrapers collapses over you, and you all recognize what's going on and go to jump out. You are not hit by the skyscraper as it plunges into the water, but it creates a vacuum that sucks everything around it through it. And you guys are all not poured, into this inky waterfall hole. And the following scene plays out in reverse of you falling back up out of a body of water, back up out of a pane of glass, back up, falling for what could have been ages, and back to a balcony where you are standing in a destitute, empty apartment building. And in the apartment building, you see the smallest, most frail, but very alive looking iteration of Fae. There is nothing on the walls. The walls even seem to have those inky black shadows walking up. And you see a key pattern in the wallpaper surrounding her that is not covered by this inky darkness. And this iteration of Fae is huddled up on this ratty, whole moth-eaten couch with an assortment of things in front of her that are ambiguous to you. It's almost like looking at them barely gives you a look into this memory. There are fractured pieces, parts of the floor where just like the detail absolutely disappears, like somebody went in with a blur brush in Photoshop. And that is where the feather sits on this frail iteration's lap. And she cups the feather and looks up at you guys without seeing you guys.
I say Joe's got like the most heartbroken look of recognition or
This has got to be
familiarity.
what we're here to fix.
Mayor oddly looks around and goes, as far as subconsciouses go, this isn't the worst I've seen.
Sometimes reality is the worst thing.
That's fair. Can we physically interact with this iteration of Fae?
That is
Gonna
up to
Poke her again?
Amina.
I don't think you should.
Because Mare would kind of like very, very gently place a hand on their shoulder, if it's possible.
Remember, no poking.
I
He
know, no poking.
flinches really violently.
There you go. Gotta
She
learn not to
flinches
poke.
really violently. And she says, please don't hurt me.
I'm not gonna
no,
hurt you.
we're
Okay.
actually here to do the opposite. Are you okay?
I'm sorry. I wouldn't do it again. Just
Whatever you do or don't do, you're perfect. You're fine. Nothing bad's gonna happen.
What
We're
is
here
the
to-
thing
we're
that
here to
you,
That she looks at Tom like she's heard that before. She's scared. Then she looks back down.
Don't be scared of me.
Mare kind of chimes in and says, "What is the thing that you won't do again?"
She hugs her. Hugs her knees closer. I'm sorry, I didn't listen. I'm sorry.
It's so
Is someone
it's
being
all
mean
right.
to you?
Why don't you tell us what happened and then we can help you?
And then you hear like really loud footsteps, like boot steps from behind you. And she flinches, but there's no one there.
Like a ghost.
The bad person? You can tell us.
So
Don't make him angry.
at this point, you guys hear the fluttering of wings. A very, very distinct sound that you guys have recognized before. And if you guess it, you're probably right.
Yay. As soon as you say fluttering of wings, I immediately assume it's that guy.
We're gonna have a new game and there's gonna be wings in it. You're gonna be like, no, Asriel.
Yep.
It's a butterfly.
It's
like-
like how I can't do games with anybody with a duster without anybody that's been an animus going like, it's Rip!
That just makes me think of Jay in the water game saying, like, I gotta protect things from Rip.
Yeah, exactly. One thing Mare does want to say here, before anything else happens, she's gonna look at this iteration of Faye and say, look, if you're scared of something getting to you, I do this thing when I need to be like away from everything to process, to keep everything out. I can do that here for you for a little bit and we can talk safely.
She looks at Mare, not really understanding, but she's obviously tempted.
It's like a fortress and there's ice and nothing can get in. Can't stay there forever, but it's great for when you need a little bit of time to block everything out and process what's going on.
Man knows all about
I
scary
don't
stuff.
want any more drugs. I don't want any more drugs.
Oh no, I understand why you would think that, but it's not that. It's not drugs. It's magic, as weird as that sounds. Which I know also sounds like a drug, but it's not. I promise, it's not drugs. You don't have to take
She
anything.
looks at Mare like she looks at Mare like she almost recognizes her, and then she just sort of nods.
All right, can Mare make
Okay.
Fortress of Solitude in the room?
I am going to need you to roll magic.
Hell yeah. Also helpful for keeping Flapping Wing Boy out.
I mean, you
We
can't
hope.
change what's already happened. Let's
Oh,
be
I know.
clear.
Yeah.
I I'm gonna add a d6 because I want this to actually succeed, and we've got a
Okay.
few of them.
Oh, for God's sake.
No! Why dice? Why?
You're in phase mine now.
You could. You
I
could
think-
use a luck point.
This doesn't feel like a luck
uh,
point moment.
I think the mixed success is that we leave Joe behind.
Oh no.
That's fine. Joe is skulking in the background, looking like
See?
so
That's why.
upset.
Poor Joe.
Oh, Joe is so triggered right now.
This is valid. This is a very, very valid. Again, please, as audience members or as cast, let me know if things are a little.
I'm here
Um,
for Joe getting traumatized by other people.
Our precious trauma
Actually,
babies. Go on.
Actually, I think that's a good idea, but I think it would be better if it's like just Mare and Faye. Like Mare had intended to bring everybody into this, but it ends up just being the two of them.
Okay.
Because Mare is also not great with people.
Okay.
Okay.
So that is what happens. This fortress of solitude springs up, and unfortunately, both Tom and Joe, you are left in the room
Fudge.
with Asriel. We'll get back.
Finally.
All right. So-
At this, can I do one thing before?
Yes.
One minute. So it's just plain of ice, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, like Superman, Fortress
Yeah.
of Solitude or Supergirl, like just ice cave with the
So
weird angled ice spike things.
yeah. Once this version of Faye sees Asriel, she's gonna run up to the ice and like try and get to him. Like she's so glad.
Ugh.
So, what was the very last part of that?
So she's run up to the ice and she's like, she wants to get to him.
Okay,
That's
yeah, Mare's gonna be
what
like,
you can read is that she actually wants to.
but that's the bad. Don't. Why are you running to the bad?
That's not the bad. That's not the bad one.
Who's the bad one?
Can you hear the footsteps again? Charlie's
think-
the bad one.
Okay, that's not creepy. I think they're both the bad one, and this bad one is just trying to convince you that they're the good one to get you away from the other bad one. And Mare like confuses herself explaining that and starts counting on her fingers like, yeah, that's right.
I feel so peaceful when he's here.
Yeah, I've experienced that too. It's not the everything's okay peaceful, it's the I'm gonna give up and just accept my fate peaceful, which is not a great kind of peaceful.
So I'm gonna put a pin in that real quick. Coming back to Joe and Tom. In the past, Asriel appearing has brought this overwhelming sense of grief. This like drowning sensation. And in this, Asriel is only a reflection, only a impression of what that is. He does not bring the same weight that he did when you first met him, whether it's because it's dream, subconscious, whatever, but you do not have the impeding sensation that stopped you before or would cause panic.
Okay. So, but he does look the same.
He looks a little bit different. He looks softer. The eyes crinkle with like he's covered in eyes. His eyes all crinkle and smile, and there is a softness or a warmness. You're seeing him as this iteration of Faye would see him. Very much the biblical multi-winged angel ringed in faint lights with iridescent hues in his black feathers, kind of sensation, or not sensation but image.
I don't know if that's going to be enough to convince me that he's not a horrible person, because that's how I know him. And he, even when we met him, he was still being like, yeah, I'm the good guy. Yeah. So Tom has jumped to the wrong conclusions and is going to be like, did you hurt that little girl, you son of a bitch? Did you lay one finger on that little girl?
So when you get up in his face,
Mm-hmm.
you can see like the eyes on his body all shift around to look in your direction, but they're moving, like they can't focus on you. And he tilts his head like he hears something, but he can't actually hear you. Like, like seeing the shadows in your peripheral vision, you're like, oh, spooky. It's kind of like almost like responding to that, but he has no perception of you.
I'm going to assume that he's doing that out of like just, oh, you're not even worth looking at.
Okay.
You look at me, you jerk. You look at me when I'm talking to you.
Yes, Azrael is a T-Rex. Azrael only, okay, so this is where I'm gonna railroad this just a little bit. Azrael tries to look at you again, and tries to hear you again, but cannot make any connection. And instead he moves into the room, like his wings are almost like legs that help hoist him up as he hovers as this borderline angelic creature. And
does he move through me because I'm in his face?
Yes, he would move right through
what
you.
Hey.
Boy, have the turns have tabled on you.
Right?
Oh, how the turntables wiki.
And he moves into the room to press against the ice that Mare has created. And you can see that the ice impedes him, but then he puts one of his various hands on the glass, not the glass, but on the ice, and begins melting through it or phasing through it. You're not entirely sure which one. You have approximately a minute to speak with this iteration of Fae.
I'm going to attack this angel, but I don't know if that's anything.
You go right through him.
So I pick up a lamp that's in the room and I'll just swing. Ooh, and then I fall on the ground because, I'm not hitting anything.
I love Tom.
Mare's gonna start like reinforcing the ice, and this is purely for flavor. And then so with the arm that has the really cool looking scars from where she had to do that with the brazier thing, is holding that up towards Azrael and reinforcing the wall, and then is looking at Faye and saying, all right, look, we don't have a whole lot of time to talk here, so who's Charlie, what happened, and why do you want to go with this guy?
And instead of answering, you'll see, like, we'll just see a sort of, looks like grainy home video of a montage where she's there, and a man comes in. There's loads of shouting, there's screaming, a bit of a physical tussle. You can hear like plates breaking, just the feeling of that. And you can see bruises appear on her arm.
So with that, that's about all. Sorry, go on.
Oh, just okay.
Okay. With that, that's really all you are able to get a handle on before Azrael makes it through your ice barrier. And this iteration of Azrael is so soft. He's grand and beautiful and definitely interesting, but he is so gentle, and he takes this frail iteration of Faye into his arms like a child and holds her tight and says, "It's okay. I'm here to take care of you. I'm going to make all the pain go away. I'm going to take you away from the world and bring you to a new one. I'm going to give you a better life where nobody will hurt you ever again." And he kisses the top of the frail Fae's forehead, and all of his wings wrap around them, and almost like turning to ash and feather, it all bursts outward, and you guys wake up in your bodies back on the ship. And that's where we're going to go on break.
Okay. Mayor absolutely wasn't going to try to do this, but I do have to say it because it popped in my head, and I think you'll all find it funny. My first thought at this, as soon as he broke through, was like, must go deeper. I gotta go inside Azrael's head.
New levels of Inception.
Yep. But yeah, no, that would be terrible. We don't have time for that. Yeah, we're
Can
gonna
you
go on
go
break.
inside someone else's idea of someone else? Oh, meta.
I think it
Yeah, I
worked in the
can.
movie. It's been a while since I've seen it.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did work in the movie.
Yeah, anyways, we're gonna go on a break. So go hydrate, stretch your legs, maybe grab a snack if you need one. And then be back here in 15 minutes because we'll be back with the next half, and we'll find out why we're no longer inside Faye's head and what the hell's going on. We'll
Yeah,
be
we
right
fucked
back.
up. into the real
Yay!
world.
So
And
you
back in our
all,
bodies.
well,
Back in space.
let's be clear about the real world. There's very little that's
Real?
real about
Yeah.
it. Reality
in
is
the
a
spaceship.
construct.
We're in space. Nothing is real.
Damn it!
We're in
Why are we
the
back here?
we're back to the first level of Inception.
Yes, yes.
Mm.
You've been snapped back.
The duck cream. Duck cream.
Did you mean to kick us out?
Do you mean snapped back to reality?
Eminem lyrics all the way.
Anyway,
Right?
Oh
Right?
my
That's an
God.
Eminem song?
yes.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it is.
It is. And anytime somebody says snapped or reality, my brain goes, don't do it.
Mine's question.
Thank you, Jay.
Is it nervous? I can't not.
Your mic sounds a bit odd.
Yeah, it's like muffled.
Is that better?
Yes.
Yes.
Much
Yes.
better.
Yeah, just my notebook was on top of it. Like
That'll
an
do it.
amateur. Like an amateur.
It's good
You
times.
seem to have a cat filter turned on.
Mare does
I
look at
am
Tom
not a
and,
cat
and shake her
right
head.
now.
No, that I didn't mean to bring us all back.
Nuts. What happened? We weren't done.
well, Azrael like grabbed Faye and there was like some transformation stuff going on and then we were here.
I'm sorry, Faye.
So-
We didn't manage to fix you.
So Faye is sort of heavy breathing, and for the first time ever, she looks really queasy. And then she rushes over to the corner to, I hope there's like a garbage can or something, and she's just going to throw up.
Oh, geez.
Huh.
So you're not seeing an
Okay.
angel throw up.
So you found a storage container that didn't
Yeah.
have anything worthwhile in it.
Yeah.
I guess we did
Um,
something.
Or,
Ugh.
do you remember what we did in there, Faye?
Yes.
That's great news.
You put you. It was all you though, man. That was yours.
No. I mean, the ice stuff was. The ice stuff was me. Everything else was real.
But it was your magic. All of it was your magic.
Oh no,
Um,
that's all the real
great.
bits. That
Yeah.
Azrael took away.
You bit my finger.
That was pretty
No,
funny.
you shouldn't
know,
have
now
poked
in
me.
hindsight.
It wasn't. It wasn't. I am not human. I've never been human. That wasn't.
That was
see,
you.
I'm I'm not a psychologist or therapist or anything, but I'm pretty sure that's called denial.
If she says she's an angel, she's an angel.
Okay,
Bear
well,
just looks
what's
at Joe
going
like,
on with you? Jeez.
Oh, hey, wow.
Mal
Did we
like
pull back
peeks
Mean
over.
Faye and you somehow?
What's going on with you?
Nothing. It's fine. How's the how are we flying?
No matter the ship. Let's talk about you for a second. You just freaking stood there when that angel came to get little Faye. What the heck?
What?
You could have done something. You could have said
No.
something.
Well, you
just
clearly
stood
weren't
there.
doing anything. We can't change what's
least I
already
tried.
happened. You think you can just fix everyone? You can't fix people.
Mal's just slowly moving back into the cockpit.
Mare just kind of blinks and looks between Tom and Joe, and then slowly moves back towards Mal and it's like, everything okay with the ship?
Well, and Mal pauses. Well, there's this little red blip on the screen that wasn't there before, and there's a spark happening underneath the control panel that maybe Joe
Oh
should
shit!
look at.
Yeah. Here, let me. Sorry. Fuck. Here, I'll go take a look. She like disappears under the control panel.
Okay.
We'll come back to you in just a second, Joe.
Oh, that's fine. I wasn't even.
So that leaves Tom and Faye and Mare and
Captain
sort of
Nuggies.
Mal.
Now
Get-
what? We went in there. We talked to all the other Fays, and she's still in denial. She still thinks she's an angel, like a real one, instead of just a little girl who got messed with.
An angel. Here's what I can do. I made that. And she points at the chicken. Humans can't do that.
No, I'll make a ghost to the chicken. There you go. Mine's got a
And now
sweater,
look,
so it's like 10 times as good.
May. Faye sort of, she's got this sort of slight growl in her voice that she's holding it back, but she's really edgy. She's on edge. Someone stole my face. Well, kinda.
So Faye, that was your subconscious. So if your subconscious is stealing your face, then that's still you.
That doesn't make sense. I've never seen that before.
Could
Doesn't
it
make
be
sense.
suppressed memories? Because that's a thing.
And she looks puzzled and then really sad.
It's like it's like when
Puzzle
something
again.
bad happens, and you don't you can't process it, so your brain's like, we're just gonna forget that happened, and then it suppresses it until later when you're healing from trauma, and then it hits you like a friggin' truck out of nowhere.
But here it's more like Azrael took those parts. Like it wasn't even really your choice.
Yeah, it did seem kind of I'm just gonna do the thing without really explaining what I'm doing, kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So at that moment, shake you up a little bit. You hear an automated announcement that says, proximity alert. Planet incoming. Prepare
All right.
for atmosphere entry.
Everybody seatbelts.
Bear
We're
hops in the
here.
seat and buckles in and grabs onto Captain Nuggies to keep him secure.
So during the moment that you had you were resolving your conversation there, Joe, Mal points to a part underneath the control panel, is like, that's where the problem child is. But there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong there. It has a sticky note that says, I hope you're okay. And
It was like
Tom just wants to love you like a good friend loves his good friends. And it's just like tiny scrawl like on this little sticky note. And Mal's just standing, like keeping her from the rest of the ship. Like, come on.
just gonna like put a hand back to like grab at Mal.
She's there to comfort you.
Okay. Yeah, I see what your problem is here. We'll get that fixed right up.
And that's when the proximity alarm goes off, and both Mal and Joe have to buckle in.
And Joe knocks her head on the top of the control or bottom of the control panel.
what's that, Faye? What was
I
that?
just laughed.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
It
You were
froze
like-
like mid
I was just laughing.
gesture. I was like, wait a minute, hold on. What? Um
Now, I think Faye would be not realizing she's doing it, sort of speaking to herself and going, Charlie. Charlie. Should we do that? Starting to remember things.
so you guys, there is a portion of fiction that goes into this this atmosphere entry. You are all able to see out of the large front window. There's not like the seats are the only thing really disconnecting the cockpit from the rest of the ship. So you all have view coming into entry. And there's something very stylistic and very pretty about coming through the atmosphere. There's only a little bit of turbulence because, let's be honest, none of us have been to space. we wouldn't know exactly how re-entry works. But you come down and you see this verdant looking planet. And Joe is able to land the ship just fine. And you guys come out, like you guys step out and and it, what have I done? It looks just like Earth. It looks like you sat down in like some I'm trying to think of like, I would imagine like a Ireland before humans had set up their settlements and done all of their things. There's acorns and animals and all kinds of lush verdant stuff going on. Like you guys haven't been in this kind, like you've kind of been in it, but you haven't been somewhere that has felt so real. And something about that realness is what is alarming, that tip off that something doesn't feel right.
I think Mayor's going to chime in and say, well, first of all, this definitely doesn't look like Jupiter.
You think this is that planet the planetarium mentioned and also this book mentioned?
Well, it was near Jupiter, Faye says really
I mean, like,
brattily.
yeah, you sent us in the right direction. Like, we wouldn't have known where to go if it said go to the planet that may or may not exist.
Thanks, Joe.
You're welcome.
So this is it? This is where we're supposed to be?
I guess so.
Meh.
It
And I'll
feels right.
Pick up a rock and throw it.
It works just like gravity would work on Earth. It's almost a perfect copy.
We've been to so many weird places, and this one feels more weird. Somehow.
Yeah. Wait,
I think it's
if this is the weird missing planet, does this mean Earth had a twin at some point?
What?
It
'Cause this
was
feels like Earth.
Does it?
that was the whole thing was that, and like Joel like pull out the book that she stole from the place, is like it was like a lot like Earth, but Earth attacked it
What?
and I think it blew up.
I mean, that does seem like something past humans would do.
Oh,
Such
so
jerks.
This is like a ghost planet.
I think it's beautiful.
Would that make it a space ghost?
We already have a space ghost.
Oh, right,
Real
because Tom's
space
in
ghost.
space.
Yeah.
So Mao has wandered a little bit of a distance off from you and gives you guys like a hey, I found some stuff.
Is it
You
something
did.
cool?
I mean, I think it's cool.
All right.
And you did not see anything when you touched down. The ascent appeared to be absolutely this world, though a copy, empty and devoid of any kind of civilization. But as you follow Mao around the corner, you see a long table with several people in white clothing kind of shuffling around and setting placemats.
Oh, great, a cult.
Why do we always find cults?
Mayor's gonna visibly judge their fashion choices, and then just sort of wave and be like, hi, who are you?
They don't really like, they acknowledge that they see you, but they do not respond.
Well,
Cool, great,
they're a
great
silent
talk,
cult.
thanks.
Yeah.
Good
Did you
word,
like take a
silent.
vow?
Do they understand you?
Yes.
They kind of look like their lack of response is not clear whether or not they hear your language, but they look like you guys as humans would. They look like normal people, just dressed in white.
No normal person is dressed in white. This is
It's
the
dirty
apocalypse.
immediately.
Meryl, just you said they're sitting at a table, right?
Yes.
Meryl
Is
just
there
walk
food?
over and plop down at the table.
Can I
Like-
have you guys all roll sharp for me too while you're settling in? And
That's a good call.
I'm just gonna go over and plop down at the table and just be like, all right, well, maybe now you'll talk to me.
Get one more level before we level up.
yay!
Before the series ends.
So Mare and Faye, you are not so disturbed by what's going on that you do not notice that almost tucked away past this area where this table is being set is a dais with the brazier on top of it. It seems to be covered in vines, and it is holding a pitcher of water and a cornucopia of various fruits in it.
So I nudge Mare and go,
Oh, hey, it's the thing.
What thing?
Mayor, just are the people watching? Mayor. Okay.
They're literally fixated on just what their tasks are.
Mayor's gonna walk over to the brazier and try to light it with the lighter and hairspray if necessary.
Just casually.
You
Probably take the water off first, but
and the fruit.
Yeah, let's keep the fruit.
You want to burn the fruit?
Mayor weirdly has this like feeling like maybe this is supposed to be a sacrifice thing. Tell you what, let me do the Destiny's Play thing to see if Mayor gets a feel on should we burn this or not.
I was hoping that you would choose that.
It's a trap.
Ah!
It's always a trap.
Usually.
Right. Roll yeah.
Okay. So Keeper will reveal a useful detail about the coming mystery. Okay.
The idea that you get off of this brazier is that it's more of like a piece of furniture, like it just happens to exist here. That is what it is. But like as you kind of like reach out to inspect it and remove the water jug, you get this overwhelming sensation of that superhero feeling. like your spider senses tingling, but it's not like in a danger way. It's, when you stop a crime from happening and you're filled with that strange serotonin of being a overzealous good bean.
Yeah,
I know that feeling.
I love that description.
I'm glad.
Is that the feeling of like, yes, I'm doing the right thing by burning the fruit, or I should just leave this alone and enjoy this warm, happy feeling?
Well, the fruit question doesn't get answered. It is completely overridden by this like sensation of like, yeah, you're a superhero. You're doing the good. You're on the right path. You got this.
Yeah, as it says, useful detail.
This is useful. You just don't know it yet.
I'm doing the right thing.
We need to know that it's useful, though.
The fruit is fruit. You can decide whether or not to burn it, but it is wet and it might not light.
So I'll see you. I'll see you like struggle with this decision, and I'll just take the fruit off. Burning fruit is wasteful.
Bear will pass it on over to you.
Wasteful.
Like everything else has been like super symbolic, so Bear's like, we're probably supposed to burn the fruit for some reason.
I'll
You
give
mean
Faye
I
and
can't
Joe
give
and
you
Mao
an easy
a piece of
pass?
fruit.
No.
Are you sure that's a good idea? We've not had luck with food, Tom.
Fair.
You can throw it away if you want. I don't know.
But what if it?
With the stuff off, Bear's gonna
Mao
light
takes it.
Can I have a fruit? Is that?
Yeah, of course.
Mao will eat fruit
Thank
with you.
you.
She's just like shoves everything that she can into her mouth and sits eating with her mouth open. You light
Thank
the
you.
brazier. And it does as it's supposed to. And the others, the people in white stop and kind of mutter to themselves in a really excited way.
Oh, now you talk? How about you talk to us, huh? Rude.
And it's almost like this is the first time that they're able to acknowledge you. And you hear like this uproarious sound of music, like a band starting up all of a sudden. And like it's like you blink in surprise and suddenly it's twilight and there's torches lit around the table. People are dancing. You find yourself being passed from one person to another in this kind of wild two-step dance. And it like you know that there has been no time between jumping from A to B, but you almost feel like your brain is trying to fill in those memories of like how you got there. And the brazier has been kept lit. There is this glow emanating from it. And you still aren't really able to get words out of these people. And like they respond to you, but you're not hearing what they're saying. And they seem far more wrapped up in what it is that they're doing to really like to focus in or repeat these things that they've answered. Like there is a very dreamlike quality about this sequence. But that you get like lighting the brazier gets you to that point.
Well, we're getting manhandled, so I'm like, hey, no touchy.
Whee!
And I'll, do some light attacks around me so they'll leave me alone.
Pat, pat, pat.
With time passing like that, I feel like I should be looking for somebody with an ocarina playing the Song of Time. Do I get the sense from watching this that I'm like perhaps watching history unfold rapidly?
That's a really good question. Yes and no.
Okay.
Ooh. Does Faye recognize anything to do with her religion, her god?
Yes. You would recognize several signets and iconography that has been chiseled into the brazier or marks the edge of plates. Almost like protection spells have been put around, but it's your religion. Like there's nothing magical about this. This is your god doing their work.
Yeah.
But it's everywhere, and the more you look, the more it seems to present itself.
It's okay. It's him. We're safe.
Right.
He's happy we're here. Everything's okay. I mean, look.
Okay.
And she points at these symbols like everyone knows exactly what she's talking about.
Okay.
I'm gonna
It's
look
never-
around for Asriel, because I now conflate Asriel with her religion.
It's fair. It's very valid.
Especially now.
You may roll for it.
What would you like me to roll?
Sharp, please.
Sharp? There we go. Pushing all the buttons. Mixed.
And Joe, Mao is sitting with you. And Mao kind of like Mao has given you some comfort time. Like she's been there, she's kind of been like a little bit more like platonic touchy, of like giving your shoulder squeezes or like little arms or like engaging and holding your hand in kind of like her way of being like, hey, it's gonna be okay. And then Mao stops and kind of squints and tilts her head, and let's hop back to Tom. No, I'm kidding. I won't do this. I'll finish this.
No, I don't care. You do what you would want.
And Mao kind of nudges you and points over at a small group of people, and she's like, that looks like Asher. And points, and sure enough, there is somebody from the back that looks like Asher wearing these white clothes.
Oh no, Joe was trying to think of a way to talk to Tom and apologize, but now Asher's here.
Good luck. Tom, you do not find any remnants of Asriel. There's no black feathers. You can't hear anything.
Do I see Asriel?
You do see Asher.
There we go.
Um,
Oh, hey. I think this will very much lift my spirits, and
Oh.
I'll go get him. Or them. Yeah. It works. Yay.
so, you get there before Joe or Mao are able to get up from their seats at all. You're just suddenly there. And you go to tap on their shoulder, and it is Asher. But
Hey.
Asher looks up at you, and in the same way that these people sort of partly regarded you, kind of saw but kind of not saw,
Mhm.
Asher looks up at you with an air of confusion.
I get that a lot. How'd you get here? Because, space.
They're
okay?
their brows knit together and they answer you, but you can't hear their words don't come out right. You can hear the sound of them talking, you know that they're talking, but you don't understand what they're saying.
Ah, great. You're broken. We have a bad track record with this. Anyway, let's go. And I'll pick him up and I'll fly him over to Joe.
You
Oh
just
my
swap. Look what I brought you.
Yeah, I found your buddy.
Oh, that's great.
While all that's happening, does doesn't have to change camera focus, but I just want to mention the words. Mara's gonna go check on Faye and like do the like side hug thing and make sure Faye's okay while all this is happening.
I mean, right now, Faye looks like she's in bliss. She feels really comforted by all the sigils and the surrounding. But yeah, she appreciates the kind of snuggles up a bit like a cat.
She's
So
like, I'm
cute.
okay, just blocking all of these extra memories out. It's fine.
Mary's
love
just
that.
like gives Faye a pat on the head. It's like, okay, yeah, and enjoy this. We'll talk about the bad stuff later, but you could enjoy this for now.
So, Joe, Asher gets dropped in front, well, not like dropped, but set very gently, I assume, in front of you. And it is Asher for all intents and purposes, but they give you the same kind of like confused, dazed look.
For that, I do want to flash an appreciative smile at Tom.
I won't notice because I'm looking at him.
Oh,
or
fuck.
them to see how they're interacting. I'm gonna see the same confused look on their face. I mean, like, huh, right? They did the same thing to me, so
Mao's gonna reach across and grab Asher by the cheeks and turn their head back and forth and kind of give them a squish and be like, "Hey, buddy, you awake there?" And like they kind of like recoil and pull it back and like look at Joe and
you need some coffee.
like there's
I'm gonna pull
there's-
the picture
sorry, go
out.
on. There's not a lot of recognition, and you pull this photo out, and it's just you in the photo.
Oh no.
My heart
Right.
hurts so much that I've done this. Oh God.
Hey, Asher.
Asher tilts their head and goes to talk, and in the same way, you know that they're talking, they're saying things, but you cannot understand the words.
Like to hold out a hand to them.
They tentatively put their hand in yours and like turn your hand over and look between your fingers like a child might. And they put your hand against their hand like this and like kind of insinuate that you are the same.
Your mic's fading in and out a little bit again.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Uh,
What's wrong with them?
Joe looks like she's gonna cry.
It's okay, I might cry.
I was just like staring at their connected hands, like really intensely.
Tom, do you offer anything?
Like what?
I don't know.
I'm just standing there, just super confused.
Okay.
Mare has
go
a
on.
sudden thought and wants to do something when there's a moment.
What is your thought that you need your moment for?
Mare wants to look around and see if there's anybody that looks like Faye around, and also maybe make a like a spinny top out of ice and see if it, continues spinning indefinitely or if it falls over.
Love it.
Love
Have I told you that reality doesn't matter?
No,
We
I
already know this.
The top thing is more just me goofing. But Mare
Okay.
does want to look around and see if there's anybody that looks like Faye here. Because she has a theory.
I'm following your theory. So keep that in, like I
no,
understand
I'm
what you're
fascinated.
going for. Keep that in mind when
I
you
don't.
don't find her.
Okay.
I'm not gonna make you roll for it. I assume you take the time that is going through just to look through the people's faces and get a good look for it. You don't find anybody that looks remotely like her. Though from DM to player, you are on the right page.
Okay.
um, there's just
Ooh.
details.
I'd like-
Details.
I've got
I think I would like to
shivers.
hug Asher.
Asher is accepting of your hug.
I would like
And
like-
confusedly gives you a hug back.
just like to whisper, be like, you can't go yet. I still need you.
Maybe this is like a true love's kiss kind of thing. Uh, Yeah.
You could try.
mm.
I'd love that.
I would love to see.
We did say we
They-
wanted a kiss.
Joe understands boundaries. This
They-
person clearly doesn't like recognize her.
That's fair.
They respond to you and in a confused way, like they understand what you're saying and they're trying to talk to you, but you cannot understand what they are saying.
I don't understand what you're saying. Why can't I understand you?
Brainstorm. Wow. We're gonna take your thing and we're gonna stick it on this guy.
Oh, good
Person.
idea. And
Trauma.
Mao takes her tiara, her translator tiara, off and sticks it on Asher. Before we get into that, Raven, Mayor, while you're looking around, you find a tree that really jogs your familiarity. Like there is, you feel like you've seen this tree before. And to give you a description of this tree, it's not super big around. It's fairly narrow. It's a younger tree. Its roots are fairly surface, so you can see the roots spreading out of it. But in this tree is a knot. And in the knot, you can see a faint glow, but you do have to climb up to look inside.
Can I fly up to look inside?
You can.
Yeah,
in,
Meryl do that.
Well, I guess.
I forget where flies too. Constantly.
Half the time I forget. I get it. Hence
in
the ice earlier.
In the knot of this tree is a palm-sized purple crystal that emits a very light glow.
I remember these from the one shot.
I remember these from reading the story.
I
Oh,
remember these from the Dark Crystal and they were bad.
So this is character information that you would know. During the course of the city's protecting itself, there were several trees like this once upon a time that had kind of collected and sprouted they were the city park, but lucid dreamers, in an effort to protect the city, had to sacrifice the trees, and the trees all burned. And as far as anybody or any other lucid dreamer knows, there is no other tree like those, but you found one.
do I know what their importance is in terms of like, is it protective? Does it produce fruit? Like why do I know why they're important?
Lucid dreamers have used them as weapons, as shields, as magic enhancers. There's something
I'm
that just
sorry.
like compounds the ability of the use of that.
Did you
or-
say magic enhancer?
Mm-hmm.
I have an idea.
I also have an
Ooh,
idea.
I have an idea as well.
So you remember when we saw Asher the first time and there was everybody was happy at the table and there was the snake lady and Mary's like, I'm just gonna get rid of this illusion. Can Mare do the dispel magic thing, but use the tree to boost it?
Yes.
Spell enchantment.
So you do. I'm not gonna make you roll for it. You kind of reach in and you grab this crystal, finding that the crystal can be dislodged. And in the same moment, you cast your dispel, and you can see your magic. You can literally see the sonic wave of it ripple through everything, but nothing changes. Everything is as it is.
Okay.
Heck was that?
I was testing a theory.
Faye's gonna walk up to this tree as well. And look at the trunk of it. And then she's gonna
go on.
Go on.
Oh, I was gonna say
Okay.
that there's a familiarity for you too as you approach this tree, but not because you understand other lucid dreamers or the world that you're in, but there is a comfort here, that there is a knowing that this is a part of the whole thing. There is, maybe it's because of your god or for whatever reason, but this, something about this is what ties things together, and there's a completeness in it. So,
And
go on.
so I put a hand on the tree, just enjoying the tree as tree huggers do. And then Faye sees like someone's carved something under the trunk, and it says Charlie and Terry, and then she scratches at it, and then it's gone.
Okay.
She's like, not quite yeah.
All right.
That's what happened.
Mare's gonna, seeing that the spell magic thing didn't work, or didn't do anything really, just is gonna try turning it off and on again. Let's just pull the crystal out and then put it back in. Just want to reboot the tree, just see if it does anything.
It doesn't change anything.
Reboot the Wi-Fi.
But the longer you're looking at this crystal, you realize this crystal is about the same size as something else that you've obtained.
Fuck, what have we obtained?
Is it one of those marble doodles?
It's
Does it
not
have something to do with the fancy owl book? Because that's about the only thing I can think of. That
Your wand?
Did the wand have a?
the wand did not have a crystal, but the wand was like a Sailor Moon Scout container compact wand. So there is a compartment that would be about the same size to fit this crystal.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Then yeah, Mare's gonna look at that and be like, okay, that's just too much of a coincidence for it to not, be a thing. And is gonna take the crystal and put it into the wand and like pat the tree and be like, I really hope this doesn't, hurt the tree.
Okay.
The tree immediately dies.
Well, that is what I was gonna say. That you get out of a certain vicinity and the tree starts to wither, but it's not necessarily important. The tree gave you.
Who cares about trees?
Faye's like, why did you do that for?
Well, if it starts to wither, Mare's gonna try to use the wand to like make the tree be okay if she leaves.
Roll magic for me.
Bibbity boppity miracle grow. It's a very different spell from bibbity boppity fuck you.
You are
Very
successful. Different. So you are able to maintain the tree as it should be. Let's go back to Asher, Joe, Tom, and Mal. So Mal puts this translating crown on Asher, and Asher opens their mouth to talk, but it doesn't seem to do anything, because what is in their mind is what is being, like, it is the same as what is being translated. Like there is a barrier between communications.
Come on. You sure you don't want to go for true love's kiss? Because
I was like, I mean,
I don't love them, or I would.
Uh, I guess, like, Joe's like surreptitiously like flicking her eyes between Tom and then Mao and then Asher. It's just like,
I was like, yeah, kiss, 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 kiss.
oh, okay. Okay, so I'm just gonna like very gently cup Asher's face, being like, I'm gonna.
Asher doesn't, like, their body language seems like just confused, like a kid, and then they like pucker their lips, and they're like, question, is this how you do it? Is this what you mean?
Yeah,
The heck is wrong
okay.
with-
Could I just put a little, just drop a little kiss on him, I guess.
It does not change or shake anything.
I knew that wouldn't work.
But Asher does seem to relax and like has less confusion about this entire thing.
A stranger kisses you, you are less confused.
Less confused. Mao seems really disappointed.
Yeah, same.
Mao,
I'm sorry, guys. I guess I'm not. I mean, I've never been magic, so.
All right. So as we are nearing to an end, I'm going to steer us one more time because there is a specific point that I would like us to get to before we end today.
Okay.
The night continues. You, Mare, you are, you're able to kind of fiddle around with this wand, and this wand gives you like there's this sense of purpose that you have with it. Sorry, I'm just laughing in chat. But the festivities seem fairly general and lighthearted. You don't see or find any remnant of Azrael. No, I'm kidding, not here. And your new friend Asher, who you have this language barrier with, manages to kind of still enjoy your company in a strange, passive way. And the night continues. There's music and dancing and food, and everybody's having a great time. But there's kind of a point where things get a little boring. You guys have been running, you've had action, there's been one thing after another in this
Mike.
and this you've been running one thing after another chasing you, and there is this this piece almost agitates you, like it crawls under your skin. There is like you have that pressing anxiety and need that you have to do something, and it shows in all of you. And there comes to a point where
I've
Asher,
been in that mood all night for like this section. So
yeah, cool.
Faye's getting a bit like Faye was enjoying the festivities and was blissed out, and now she's getting like, yeah, it doesn't sit well. She keeps kind of absentmindedly check
There is also with that
her
sense,
arms, just being
this-
like, "Oh, okay, nothing's there."
you also find the sensation of not belonging, and Asher picks up on this because Asher's kind of joined. You've all come together, and Asher's there and is helping you. And as everybody is still partying, there's no lull in it. But Asher kind of first pulls Joe aside and kind of gives you like the like, I want to show you something. You need to see something. Come with me. But Asher waits because they want everybody else to come with.
Grab. I'll be
Okay.
like, I think maybe Asher wants to show us something.
What is it?
Okay.
Did Timmy fall down the well?
Who's Timmy?
I don't know.
So Asher collects you all and takes you out into like the surrounding area. It's not hard to traverse. It's pretty. There seems to be a perpetual twilight here. It's a soft lighting and nothing ever really gets too dark or too bright. And Asher takes you to a set of doors. And these doors look painfully familiar. They are the doors that are shown on our overlay with the snake and the foxes and the crow feathers decorating it in that ornamental, decorative way. And Asher points to the door and points to you guys and says something again and gets frustrated that they know that you can't understand them and points to the doors again. Like this is it.
I think we're being kicked out.
We're meant to go in.
I don't think Asher wants to come with us. Should I, bring him along? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Are you sure? Because I could do that. Maybe there's a way to wake him up when we're, somewhere else.
They can't come back with us.
And
Why?
Asher nods.
I think Merrick kind of goes over to Asher, just kind of squints and like leans in close. Just like, did Azrael bring you here?
Faye's gonna go to Joe and just very hesitantly put a hand on her shoulder.
Oh, she's crying.
Oh.
She's gonna like look at Ash and be like, you were everything.
Asher gives you like Asher sees that you're in distress and understands why you're in distress, even though they don't have the memories of it. And they reach out and they give your arms a squeeze and pull you into a tight hug. And then pull away and reach into the pocket of their trousers and turn to Tom. And they try and say something again and hand Tom what looks like a very, very soft yet white gold key. Very delicate and very much matching the doorway.
So I get to open the door. I get to lock him. Because that's like the only two uses of a key that I know. Opening and locking.
Asher's just like so frustrated that they can't talk to you and just was like kind of reaches out and pats you, and that's when you realize that you're very corporeal to them.
What the heck? Oh, you're freaking dead. I got you. Okay. Well, that's fun. Sorry, buddy.
And then Asher suggests to the door again.
Sorry, Joe.
I guess you're the one who's meant to have the key. She looks a bit jealous.
Do you want to open the door?
No, he gave it
Same to
to
me.
you, so open it.
All right. I'll go open the door.
You find that you don't actually need the key to open the door. But the door opens for all of you. And Asher waves you goodbye, and you can tell that they want to come with you, but that they are barred from doing so. you guys walk through this door, and sorry, go
one
on.
final just feeling.
Yes.
You saved my life, and I promise I won't ever forget. And I miss you, even if you were always real to me. And Jill just like turns and goes.
Asher catches you before you make it across the threshold and presses their forehead against yours and gives you a squeeze and then lets you go. And you guys make it through the door, and it's that same strange thing with time happens again. And it's like waking up. There's a grogginess to it. And you come together, and you are standing in a desert facing a massive wall, a wall that you really only recognize from the other side. You can hear the thunderous beat of wings overhead. You can see the falling of black and ash feathers. You can hear the sounds of people shrieking and screaming from the other side of the wall. And you know that the end is coming. The end of dreams.
Let's go save the fucking world.
Now, there is a little bit of player knowledge that I would like to share with the residents of the city. It is at this time, now that you have seen all the braziers, that you recognize that there is something similar in the cathedral that sits next to the burnt park where all of the old trees used to be. This is the same cathedral chapel that Faye saw when she went out to meet the Fox Man. This is the same one that you passed on your way to the door to go into what you thought was the dream world. And you know that your final beacon of light and hope is there. And all you have to do is get to it.
Oh, we get to have a really action-packed final episode.
Yeah.
Oh, I think Mare's gonna grab that wand and just make like shotgun pumping motion. And just be like, bring it on.
Meanwhile, Joe will pump her actual shotgun.
It's time to go duck hunting. The duck's name is Azriel.
And you know how duck hunt goes. That's not good. That means the dog is going to show up.
Oh,
Maybe a snake.
Or a fox.
But yeah, so that's it for today's session. We actually ended earlier than I thought we would.
Yay!
That was fantastic.
That
I was
was
just
really
about
was.
to ask for more time, but I was like, yeah, we did it.
Oh, that was so good.
Are you
Mhm.
satisfied with my strange little storytelling elements there? Was that
Always.
okay?
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely.
I just want to
Little
make sure.
savvy.
I was like, we're taking some quick turns, but I hope it works.
Yeah, no, it was great. We're gonna go on a raid in a bit here. We've got a raid cry, which is it's kiss o'clock. Before we do go on the raid, though, I'm gonna let everybody say what their favorite part was, where we can find them, and anything they'd like to share or plug. And we'll go reverse order from how we started. So, yeah, starting with you. What was your favorite part? Where can folks find you? Anything you want to share or plug?
Man, I love how splendiferously you guys play your characters. I don't think that this story would have been very fun to tell if it hadn't been for all of you guys being just incredible role players. And that's my favorite part of this session, is that the humanness that you guys bring to your characters is heartwarming. It's so good.
Oh,
Much good. And y'all almost got me to cry. That's hard. That's a hard one. That's my favorite part. I mean, I could tell y'all individually what I absolutely adored, but that would take up a lot of time. Just y'all.
We ended early.
Oh,
Yeah.
I could
Tell us what about
totally
after
do
chat.
that.
What's an after chat? I want my
Hannah-
ego straight. God damn it.
Hannah, your commitment to your character's grief, top notch. That's what almost got me today. I was like, oh my heart. Like I've known what I was gonna do with Asher for a while now, but it's
Totally not what I was expecting at all when I gave you the character information.
Paladin, your empathy with your character and the way that you hold other people together, and the rawness of being snapped at by somebody, and just like oh no, I want to protect Tom. It's top notch. I love it. And then Nina, you playing all the iterations of Faye, like I have told you so little, and you just blew my mind with how well you were able to ad-lib that exactly like what I was imagining. Like I wanted to give you a lot of that creative leeway, but dang, you're good. And Mare, your absolute aversion towards all the sweet curly things and your commitment to helping Faye and challenging the odds of I don't like the physics, I guess, physics of this world and, is great. Oh my god, just absolutely wonderful. So those are my favorite parts. I don't know what I'm doing.
where can folks find you, and anything you want to share or plug, such as the really cool comic this is based on?
Yes. So you can find me at Studio Tart. That's my website, and that link has all of my external links. So if you want to follow me, any of my work elsewhere, you can check that out. Let me pull up if you're interested in this comic, and I wanted to repeat that the end of this game is in no way an indication, absolutely not an indication of the comics or the storytelling there. We have gone so far left that has nothing to do with anything. So you have no worries about spoilers with the comics or the chapters. But yeah, I hope you enjoy how that goes. I'm pulling up the author's Twitter. So if you're interested in this, the original story that inspired this, you can follow Cecilis on Twitter for any further updates when this comic goes public. Sometimes he shares some of the art, but it's all hush hush. Yeah, that's
Awesome.
it. That's it for me.
All right, Hannah, the same questions. Favorite part? Where can folks find you? Anything you want to share or plug?
Oh man. Like yes, I loved Nina's like the different iterations, just all that beautiful characterization was just oh wow, all the differences was so good. But I loved Tom getting so upset on Faye's behalf against Azrael is very moving, and I loved that. That's where you guys can find me. I will be back here on Raven's channel tomorrow at the same noon Mountain Time slot for Time Travelers, where shit is also getting very real. And we might be looking into some suspicious stuff behind our agent friend's agency. Words are hard.
It's gonna be really cool. I'm excited for it. All right, and then Anina, favorite part? Where can folks find you? Anything you want to share or plug?
Oh, that's so hard. Hannah nearly made me cry. I was literally like, my makeup is smudged. That was beautiful. I felt from a role-playing standpoint, because me and We hadn't actually. My brain. Excuse me. Me and Yasmin hadn't pre-thought anything. All our ideas were really vague, and we were like, "Yeah, just surprise me, whatever." So when we into my head, I was a bit like, "Oh God, I've got an idea. I'm not sure. I'll do something vague." And I loved how you guys pushed me, so I just had to make a decision, and I think it went really well. It was really cool to create it on the spot in a way. And yeah, I tried to stay true to my character, which isn't like, here's everything on a play. They're very in here, but because you guys push and you really ask questions, it all came out. That was brilliant. And yeah, brilliant episode. Again, how Tom started defending like frail Faye was very sweet. How Mez and Faye's relationship kind of changed. That was just mwah, chef's kiss. I love it all. As I said, I'm an actor and a writer. I have a YouTube channel. I do storytelling as well. There's some comedy there for you, comedic monologues, and also a dark drama web series because I do like my stories dark. So go and have a look. It's called The Awkward Actress, and I'll pop it into the chat. Thank you once again.
Paladin, same questions. Favorite part, where can folks find you? Anything else you want to share, plug?
My favorite part, I think, was Grumpy Faye. I really liked that one. I liked how that went. And oh my God, I'm so sad after this. I tried so hard to help Faye, to connect with Grumpy Faye and Kid Faye, and just to bash Azriel in the face, and we got nothing. So and after that, I was like, I'm useless. I can't do anything. And then we found Asher and was like, yay, I can do something. I can fix something. And it was awful. And I couldn't do a fucking thing again.
So much for you guys.
No,
I'm still so sorry that I yelled at you.
Oh no, that was good. That was what I wanted. And that's why I went all accusey on you.
Oh yeah.
I thought that would be a fun little part.
We finally actually yell at each other.
Yeah, because Tom is usually not angry at Joe. The other way around, sure, because I annoy you that
Lovingly angry.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think Tom felt betrayed that you didn't try to save hurt Faye. And legitimately, I think. So, what a good episode.
Oh yeah.
There was a lot there. I really appreciated all the effort that was put into the Fae mindscape, and just the way that final setting was set up. How we were all feeling the of it all, that we weren't supposed to be there.
Supposed to be doing something.
Yeah, no, I got that immediately.
I love that we were bored with it. Like that specifically was
the
emotion or feeling of it.
Mm-hmm. Tom is in no mind to go fight people.
I'm sorry, Tom.
Yeah. Oh, this is good character stuff, right? So I don't know. I didn't go into this episode thinking I was gonna end up feeling like this, but here we are. Anyway,
just not have the finale. It's fine. We're just ignore it. Go do something else.
We all just sit with our trauma and never.
There we go. Let's go back to Faye's head and unleash more trauma.
yeah.
Next week we go inside Joe's head.
Please don't go inside Joe's head.
I'm
It's so
kidding.
sad in
That's
there.
not gonna be a fun
I'm
place, I think.
kidding.
Yeah.
I'm totally kidding.
Yeah, tomorrow you can find me on Chromatic Chimera's channel, where I play a badass mercenary, and we're stuck inside some Prothean ruins, and there's spooky ghosts there too. And I've decided to shoot them because, you know, if you have a gun and there's weird shit, you just shoot it. Shoot it. There's also an NPC who is upset with me for some reason that I got some of his people killed and I burned down a field of their crops. You know, it was so long ago. I'm a mechanic now. Get over it. Sundays, I am on Uncanny Adventures, where I play Holt, the pirate paladin, and tries to make friends with the evil pirates. Still haven't done an episode since last time, so I hope it goes forward. Then Tuesday, we return to Polished Cryptids channel, where last week we had an awesome one-shot where I played a cool werebeaver, man. Yeah! I played a dude who was totally obsessed with beavers, and he could even turn into one. Yeah! It was the best, and I spent an entire session talking like this.
That's amazing.
Love
It
it.
really was.
Thank you, Vita. It was radical.
It was.
Nina and
We-
chat. I love that.
We had some of the most dysfunctional characters ever, and we were supposed to be doing an investigation, which we would just talk to NPCs until they got so annoyed with us that they showed us all the clues. Super episode that was. So fun. I can't wait to get back to normal as well. But that was amazing. If you want like a fun one shot to watch, go watch that thing, Paul's Scripted channel. Awesome.
Awesome.
And that is me. And I'm looking forward to the finale of this.
I am too.
Oh,
I'm gonna miss this game. This was really
Yeah.
fun.
Oh,
I am
Same.
also. I'm gonna
I'm
miss
gonna
it.
miss all the characters.
I am really glad that literally this same cast plus 2 is going to be in the same time slot for the next campaign, so that will
I'm
help a
much
little bit.
excited. Much excited for
that's
your
so many
future.
players.
It is a lot of players, but I
A
think
lot.
we can handle it.
It'll be fine. Just chaos.
Maybe I should play a mute. That should save up
Yeah.
some space.
Oh,
I mean, that's what Alex plays in Animus. That character is no less talkative because of it. So
Seattle's wonderful.
I love
I
seeing
have played a mute before. It works fine. What about
Raven.
you, Raven?
Yeah, my favorite part. It's hard to pick like a favorite part, so you're gonna get like the highlights. Yeah, starting out with the whole mind space thing. All of the descriptions were super cool. I also really enjoyed Grumpy Faye, because it's like when you have the friend who's like the perfect goody two shoes kind of friend who never says anything bad, and then you hear them swear and it's the most hilarious thing you've ever heard in your life. That's kind of what it was like for me.
Nearly
Um,
bit your finger off.
Yeah.
All I can
And
think
if-
now is Charlie bit my finger.
Same. That's what I was thinking the whole time. Because it's like there's a Charlie and a finger got bit. Yeah, it was
Perfect.
on loop in my head the entire time. It was really hard
Okay,
not to laugh.
I'm glad that didn't happen, because that would be not the moment for an actual Charlie
Yeah.
joke.
We held
Yeah.
it until the end.
Yeah.
I am very proud of everyone.
God, thank
Our
God I would not have
self-control.
been able to roleplay any of it.
It didn't even occur to me. It did not occur to me until you guys just said it. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Alright.
Oh no, in my head it was like, Faye bit me again. Oh god. So that was great. Endless internal amusement during that part. And yeah, getting to the planet was really neat, and I really enjoyed like trying to, detective it out and figure out like what's really going on here, because that's sort of how Mayor's mind works.
Do I need to burn the fruit?
That was the first question.
Yeah, that was also great because it's like everything has been symbolic or had like some deeper meaning, and now there's fruit on it. I'm like, what do we do with the fruit?
Oh God, like Faye rejecting the fruit offering. That was also just like, yeah, can't do anything right.
Aw.
Last time we last time we burned someone alive when we did this, so you know to make sure I'm supposed to do something with the fruit. Um yeah, that whole thing was great, and everybody's emotional projection and the acting was amazing. Um Especially Hannah with coming out of the mind space and being, your own version of grumpy Faye.
For
it was
triggered.
it was uh startling in a good way. Um like very much so a like whoa, get your attention kind of switch. It was cool. Beautifully done. And yet Tom trying his best to help and nothing working. I feel so bad.
I
But
tried so
the
hard,
whole
y'all.
the whole thing was amazing. I can't wait for the finale, and yeah, I'm sad the story's gonna be over, but it's also gonna be a really cool ending. I feel like Mare's going into this like, all right, cool. This is we're gonna have a superhero fight. This is my element. Let's do this. I think she's kind of excited about it. Um,
I'm so excited for the end, you guys.
and
End game.
I see what you did there. And Mare is also like at a point where it's like I've been inside my friend's head. I had my finger bit. I've been chased by this freaking angel and snake people, and like I'm ready to burn something down, and you're in front of me, so get ready. Uh, so I'm excited. Where you can find me next will be I'll be producing Time Travelers tomorrow at noon Mountain Time. Uh, the game that Hannah was talking about is going to be really good. I'm excited. Um, it's been a lot of fun to watch from the producer chair the season. And then you won't really see or hear me until the very end when I say who we're rating and whatnot on that one, but I'll be there and I'll be in chat. And then you can see me at 6 p.m. Mountain Time tomorrow for the penultimate of Animus for this season. Um, which yeah, they kidnapped a doctor. Uh, Daisy got shot last time. Uh, Almost died. That was a thing. That was a dice thing too. It wasn't a GM planned that thing, so I was freaking out a little bit. Because Daisy's one of my favorite characters that I've created. Um, so yeah, it's gonna be good. Definitely come check that out. And I think that's it for where I'm gonna be for the rest of this week. As far as streams go, other stuff to share or plug, go pick up your copy of Fundamental RPG. You can do that on Amazon for the physical copy. I'll throw links into chat. And if you're checking this out on the Fantasy Network later, just go to Amazon and search for Fundamental RPG. It should be the first one that pops up. If you would like to pick up a digital copy instead, or if you need character sheets for it, you can find those at coffee.com/raven/shop. Like it says at the bottom of the screen, just add /shop to the end. Excuse me. And then other sponsor is Intrepid, which is adventuring gear for real life. Just released a 15-ounce coffee mug with the Intrepid, the D20 Intrepid logo on it. It looks really cool. I've got one coming in the next few days. I'm really excited to get that. But there's also athletic and outdoor and casual wear and like water bottles and mouse pads and a whole bunch of really cool stuff that you can get there. And it's also at that same location. You can find all the products at coffee.com/raven/shop. And then if you want to catch up on this show or any others that we've had on the channel, you can catch all previous episodes of everything at the Fantasy Network at watch.fantasy.network. And then just go to, I believe it's in the upper right hand or upper left hand corner, go to Stream Library and then click on Black Feather Guild, and that's where all of our content is. And you can check it out, all of that out there. And I think that's everything. So we've got our raid cry, which is it's Kiss O'Clock, and we're gonna go raid V or Tabletop Horde. Looks like she's playing some old school Pokemon, but she's awesome. She actually did the layout and formatting for Fundamental RPG. So go say hi, give her a follow if you're not doing so already, and throw the raid cry out there. And then I will see you all tomorrow. Bye, everybody.